Life experience. Okay, so let's start the video off. Life experience. So it's too much to get into this video, so I'm just going to kind of cut it down. But my life experience seems to be that 99% of men like to talk. They like to talk a lot about how, you know, they want to start a business, they want to make money, they want the girls, the cars, and this and that. And it seems that, they like to, that's all they like to do is talk. They want to, I mean, I remember starting all the way back of hanging out with a bunch of buddies. And all we would do is drink until, our eyes were crossed. And every single weekend was do nothing except for talk and talk and talk. And it would, drive me absolutely insane because I, at least other than them, didn't want to just talk. I actually wanted to do something. So a little bit of my life experience is, so after hanging out with these people for when I was younger for a couple of years, many years, after it kind of drove me to the point that, it was either do something or, you're going to just keep doing this rest of your life every weekend, just keep talking. So I eventually stopped hanging out with literally every single solitary person that I was hanging out with, and I stuck completely to myself. I met my wife, so it was just me and her. But I did nothing. All I did was work. I got a job, a very good job, a decent job working for a union. So I would go do that, and then I would get out, and just I started doing side gigs. I just started. Literally in a car. I would, in a Cadillac, I would open the trunk and I would put a push lawnmower in it, and I would tie it down with bungee cords, and I would, occasionally borrow my dad's, hand blower so I could blow the sidewalks off instead of sweeping them. And I did that for like a year, just getting a push lawnmower and doing doors and putting flyers up. But I did that for a while, and then eventually we started posting more ads. And for the first year or two, I would do jobs almost enough just to make enough money just to do the job. I would barely break even, but I did it to show my skill. I did it so I could do the job, take a bunch of pictures of the befores and afters, just so I could get the job, so I could build my resume up. So I could. We started a small website, but I had no pictures. I never took pictures of the jobs of places that I worked before. So I started taking pictures of a bunch of the jobs that I did. So again, even if it meant me breaking even, I didn't even care. I just wanted to get the job so I could start taking before and afters and just have a big resume eventually. I would do an extremely good job because I always have. I've always been an extremely hard worker, like most people that I know. And I would, send them things, so they could do a review. And after about a year or two of doing that, I had a bunch of pictures. I had a bunch of reviews, and it started just to get better and better. And then I was making good money. I was making, but again, I was working for a union and getting out and working until 8 o'clock at night every single solitary day. Whether that meant going door to door posting flyer, it didn't matter. I was out working and I was going to outwork everybody. On Friday, when Friday came and all my old buddies were out drinking, I was working, or I was posting ads or doing this or doing. It didn't matter. I had enough, so I did that. And then after I built my company to where it was good enough that realistically I could have quit my the union job. I didn't. I had full benefits. I had a pension. I had all that good stuff. But I was doing extremely well. I was making well over six figures, which I wasn't used to. I started from the bottom, which I'll get into that in later videos. But so I went from that to that, and then I kind of caught a small break where I ended up running into one of my old bosses that I worked for, and it just so happened that he kind of upgraded and started doing more of a different type of business, but he was still doing what I used to do. So I ended up, talking to him about it. And because he saw my truck, he saw I had a name on it, he saw how, because of the hard work that I did, and I got an opportunity to not get lucky, but be at the right place at the right time. And, we talked, and I ended up being able to subcontract for him, which was a big turning point for me. That's when I started getting contracts, commercial contracts, big time jobs, and I started doing that as well. And even while doing that, I still kept my union job. I was still doing that, you know, full time all year round while doing commercial jobs, all day, every day, 7 days a week. And I was doing it all by myself. I didn't have any employees yet. I did that for about 2 years. And then after I got to that point and I, started saving a lot of money, things were going really good. I got the smart idea. I said, you know what? If we can do it here, it was in an area where it got cold most of the time. It wasn't the best area. Um, it was cloudy almost every day, and then again, sub-zero temperatures. It was horrible. I hated it. So we got to that point, and we kind of one day I just kind of said, you know what? I've had enough. Which again, I'll get into this in another video, but it's one of those things where satisfaction kind of hits home when you think you want something, you finally get there, and it's not what you thought. Um, but it just something was missing, so I ended up doing telling my wife one day. I said, you know what, I've had enough. Let's get rid of the business. Let's sell everything that we have, every piece of equipment, all the trucks, the trailers. I mean, I sell everything. And we found a place to rent. Literally got up, sold our house, got rid of our business. I quit my job for the union. No more pension, no more benefits, no more nothing. We moved 1,300 miles away to somewhere where it's beautiful all year round. We had absolutely, positively nothing lined up. I had no job. I had no idea what I was going to do. But I knew that my work ethic and my state of mind, and at this point, again, I'll get into this in different videos, but I also have 2 children. So, I mean, I wouldn't really suggest to make this move for everybody. But that's what we did. That was 4 years ago now. Um, and but I knew that if we could do it there, that I could go somewhere else and do it. Just as long as I worked as hard as I did there, everything would eventually be fine. So we moved. I would say about 8 months to a year almost. I did nothing. I didn't look for a job. I didn't try to get a job. I didn't try to do anything. From the many, many years of me doing this somewhere else, I said I'm going to take a break. I've earned it, this and that. But then after a year, I said, all right, I'm losing my mind. I'm bored. Like it's almost like being unemployed. Like it gets, you might think it's cool in the beginning. It isn't. It's at least for me, it's horrible. So I got back into it, and we just started posting ads and doing this and that. And obviously, what I should have thought about was, different moving and doing the same thing is fine, but I mean, everything is different in a different state. The material, everything. So what I decided to do then was, for the meantime, I'm just going to go get a job in the field that I'm doing. I'm just going to get a job. I'm going to learn a little bit. I'm a pretty fast learner. So I'm going to learn everything that I can, and then get to a good place once I feel comfortable enough, and then, almost immediately I was also working on the weekends doing side jobs. So I was working 5 days a week for this company, and every Saturday, every Sunday, none missed. I was out there doing a bunch of side stuff to make up the extra money, just to try to get the clientele back up. I still had all my clients from, all my reviews, all that good stuff on my website. We just kind of switched it and said we live here now, or we do it in both states, which we did for a little while. But again, the story for another time. But so then I started doing that, and once again, the people that worked there saw me, the way that I was working, how hard I was working, the things that I was doing. I was running a crew. I mean, it took 4 days before I became a foreman. So some people got mad at me for that, which seems to happen quite often. But so I started to do that, and after about another year, so this is my second year of living here, I got another opportunity to kind of start subcontracting again, taking over. But the difference for that from the first place was the clients, the jobs, the sizes, the amount of money was quite significantly bigger. So now my experience, again, kind of to bring it all full circle, we've only been here for about 4 years. We're in the top 1% financially now. My wife has been a stay-at-home mom for 9 years. It's still difficult. You either have it or you don't, in my mind. Again, I know a lot of people that like to talk a big game. They want all this stuff. They want this. They want that, but they don't even want to work a couple hours a week. I think they deserve to only work a 9 to 5 and make $1 million a year. It's not how it works. It's never going to work that way. But my life experience is, again, for me, I've been mentally this way since I can remember, since I was 5 years old. I just knew that I was going to be a millionaire, whether it killed me. I didn't matter what I had to do. I was going to become successful financially, mentally, spiritually, physically. And then now here I am. So it's all about making changes. I want to start this channel so I can try to tell my story. It could be an endless story for how much things I've been through, the amount of struggle I've been through. And I'm not one of those people that was born with a silver spoon. I started from the bottom. We didn't have anything. So to go from that to here, living in a state that's, in my mind, the best state in the entire world, in the United States. And we get to kind of do what we want. The freedom of owning your own company there's just nothing like it. And I think nowadays you need that to succeed. I really feel for everybody who doesn't have that state of mind, who doesn't have the work ethic, even though, I know it's kind of on them, but I still feel for these, dudes out here that are struggling. Another epidemic that we'll get into, off topic, but I feel like stay-at-home dads seems to be like an epidemic or a problem. I can't believe how many guys I've met that don't have jobs at all and are stay-at-home dads, or whatever you want to call it, which to me is completely unbelievably insane. I'm not sure how you could even choose that, even if you wanted to, unless you're like disabled or something, or you can't do it, I guess. But even then, for me, I couldn't do it. I would lose my mind. It's the opposite of my beliefs as a man. So, but yeah, ever since I moved, I can't believe the number of guys I've met that are stay-at-home dads. It's, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but it's totally bizarre and just disgusting to me. But again, this is a topic that we'll get into another time. This is my first video. I've never really made a video. It's a little awkward, but I'm sure it'll get better as time goes on. I'm sure I'll get more used to it. And my goal is to make a lot of these. I want to help, a bunch of people, women, men, but, probably more mainly men, get to a better place in their life, where they can do things that they want to. They can feel the freedom that I have. It's always a struggle. It's still extremely difficult. Working 6-7 days a week like I do now is not easy, but it comes with its perks. And I, again, believe for the most part you almost have to do that. Unless you're a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, which most of us will not be, not for the average guy. So, but I believe it's possible. I believe that at the very minimum you could have a job and a side gig. We could figure out together what you are good at. I could give you guys tips, some hints, some things like that. So yeah, and the person who inspired me to do this, I will give a shout out to the Legion of Men podcast. He said something about one of the cameras. I went out and immediately bought one. I've been contemplating doing a video for, I don't even know, 10 years probably. So I kind of wish I would have a long time ago, but I didn't. So here I am. Here's the first one. We'll see what happens. Good, bad, whether it does, whatever. We'll see how it goes. But that's a little bit of my life story in a very short bit. I plan on getting into way more detail of some of those things. Some of the stories are pretty unbelievable. So, but we'll get there, and we'll do it together, boys. So, all right, first one down, many more to go, and we'll see how it goes. So let's get it.